Well, it has been quite some time, Jays fans, since we have talked baseball. It has been a long time coming, and I kind of wanted to wait till things accumulate a little bit so I can do kind of one big video for you guys. And we're here, and we got three things to discuss, more or less two. We'll sprinkle in the Chase Anderson for Chad Spanberger deal at the end of the video a little bit, but because it wasn't as big as the other two moves. However, let's start with the most recent news. I guess yesterday, it was 100% confirmed. The Blue Jays had signed right-handed pitcher Shun Yamaguchi of the Japanese League, 32-year-old pitcher. And, there's been a lot of question marks, obviously, with this Blue Jays pitching staff. We have no idea what this team's going to look like going into next year with the acquisition of Anderson and Tanner Roark. And now, Yamaguchi, it looks like things are starting to get put in place. With Yamaguchi, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the contract is 2 years at $6 million, which is a very, very small contract, obviously. And 2 years is very respectable. I think he's 32 years of age, is Yamaguchi. And, his numbers in the Japanese league, guys, very, very intriguing. Obviously, it's the Japanese league. It's very different from the majors, obviously. In 170 innings, he had last year 188 strikeouts and 2.91 ERA. So, very respectable. Like I said, 32 years old. In the early part of his career there in the Japanese league, he was a closer. He had 111 saves there in the closer's role, so a lot of opportunities there. So bottom line, he can be used as kind of like the back end of the rotation type of deal, as well as a key reliever for this Jays team moving forward. Obviously, with Ryan Tepera being let go, and with Ken Giles' future, we're not too sure what it's all about. We know he's going to be here at least for the start of the year, we're assuming. And by trade deadline, we don't really know what's going to happen with Ken Giles. Are they going to re-sign him? Are they going to trade him off? Or are they just going to let him walk in free agency? We don't know what the plan is for Giles at the end of the year. So bringing in a guy, 32 years old, obviously only a 2-year contract, $6 million. However, a guy that's had starter experience, as he was last year, where his numbers, like I said, extremely good. 170 innings of 2.91 ERA and 188 Ks. A very good number for Yamaguchi. Obviously, his fastball doesn't play a whole lot. He's got a sharp breaking ball, but a lot of swing and miss, and he throws a lot of strikes. And I think that right there is the big thing from Yamaguchi. He's a guy that throws a lot of strikes. And the Blue Jays last year walked a ton of guys, and it was not really pretty, for the Blue Jays in the past. But bringing in a guy like Yamaguchi who throws strikes, he's a veteran guy who's been in the Japanese league for a very long time, only, like I said, 32 years old, but he's coming over here, not a big contract, and he's not really being asked to do a whole lot. He's kind of being asked to, you can be that long man in the pen, you could be that, 6, 7, 8 inning guy, you could be the 9th inning guy if Ken Giles can't go or gets hurt or gets moved at some point, or he could be your number 4 or 5 in the rotation depending on how things are going throughout the year. So I think what that does right there, it brings some, he's a very versatile player. And it's not like he's a versatile guy and not good. He's not a bad pitcher. We've never seen him pitch in the big league. So the Japanese numbers are really all you can go off of right now. And it's kind of difficult, really to tell how a reliever or how a pitcher from the Japanese league is going to do in the big leagues. Look, we've seen some go very well. You've seen some fall apart. You've seen guys like Yu Darvish, and you've seen guys like Masahiro Tanaka, those couple guys, really good pitchers. You've seen guys like Kenta Maeda come over, and obviously, he's been okay, but he hasn't been anything too special. And there's been some guys like that where they don't really pan out too well. Now, I'm not saying Yamaguchi is even in those tiers of players like Darvish and guys like that. A lot of people have talked about Daisuke Matsusaka as kind of a guy that has been compared to Yamaguchi. You guys can take that for what it is. But again, I think it's a good signing. I don't think it's anything that we're going to go crazy and run the parade over. But I think it's an intriguing signing. Look, I'm not looking into it too much because it's hard to right now. Because all you can do is go off of the way his pitches look in the Japanese league and his numbers in the Japanese league. You've never seen him throw in the big leagues. You've never seen him face big league hitters, maybe in like the WBC or something if he played in it or whatnot. But other than that, you've really never seen the guy play. So it's really hard to tell how he's going to do at the major league level. Do I like this signing? Yes, because he can do different things to help this team, and I think that's going to be a big aspect moving forward. But it's all kind of wait and see thing. That's just really what it is. And it's another story that could pan out really well. It could not. Heck, he could be a guy that if the Jays are really bad at the trade deadline, they move because he has another year on his contract. If he's having a good year, kind of like Sung-Won Oh. Remember that trade that happened there with Sung-Won Oh? They got 2 prospects out of it, Forrest Wall and Chad Spanberger, who I think got moved in the Chase Anderson deal. But that's just what happened there. So it could be the same type of thing that happens here. If things go well, he could come back the year after. I don't know. Depending on how things go, and we all have no idea. He's never had any past major league experience, so you can't really gauge off of that. It's kind of all up in the air right now. But is it an all right signing? Yeah, I think he's going to be a versatile player. Is he going to be good? Well, that's remained to be seen. All right, so that's enough about the Yamaguchi guy. Let's talk about the acquisition that finally was made official. I think it was earlier today. Tanner Roark, right-handed pitcher, signed a 2-year contract. What was the contract money? Let me see if I can pull that up here, guys, for you. I thought I had it here ready to go. I guess I was totally wrong. But let me just go here and find that for you guys, because Tanner Roark's a guy that obviously had really good numbers back when he was in his Washington National days. But as things have gone on, the ERA has kind of spiked a little bit. But let me see if I can find it here, guys, for you. The money for Tanner Roark. I think it's a little bit, where is it here? Now it's a 2-year deal worth $24 million US. So $12 million a season for a couple of years. It's not a small amount. You're not seeing $6 million in Yamaguchi money. You're seeing $24 million US. Still quite a bit of money that Tanner Roark is being paid. But again, like I said, if you look at the way his past numbers kind of go here, and I'm going to pull those up for you guys as well, because this is something we need to talk about here. Obviously, we don't know what these guys are. They're all kind of veteran pitchers we're bringing in. Are they planning for, signing the guys to smaller deals and then trading them away at the deadline? We don't know what the plan is with guys like Chase Anderson, Tanner Roark, and Yamaguchi. We don't know what the plan is for these guys this year, but all we know is that these guys are going to eat innings if they're healthy. Because Tanner Roark last year with the Oakland A's and Cincinnati Reds, again, he's going to be 33 by the beginning of the season, I think he is. Depending on when his birthday is. He was 32 last year. ERA in Cincinnati with 21 starts. He had an ERA of 4.24. That's not terrible. Then he went to Oakland, an American League team, 4.58. So again, not very pretty. However, those seasons are very, back in 2016, Tanner Roark had a ridiculously good year with Washington. A 2.83 ERA in 33 starts. He threw 210 innings. He was a huge piece of what the Washington Nationals did. But then after that, the ERA jumped. 4.67, 4.34, 4.35, 4.24, and 4.58. Now, ideally, 3 of those, where are we here? And I mean, again, it's a tough one to take. Obviously that's off of what, 3, he's had 3 years in a row of fairly, rough baseball. When it comes to ERA standpoint, North 4 is okay, but when you're in the 4.5s and 4.6s, it's not really where you want to sit. And you're coming to the American League East with a lot of hitter-friendly ballparks, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Tanner Roark. Now, us as Jays fans, we've seen a lot of great stories come to Toronto over the last little while, dating back to really 2015. And Marco Estrada, an incredible thing that he put together, bringing back J Happ, having him do what he did. Obviously, the great performance they've gotten from guys like Daniel Hudson, Jason Grilli, Joaquin Benoit when he was here. All these guys they bring in on 1-year deals, or they acquire the deadlines or whatnot, and they bring them in. They somehow do really well. Joe Smith was another example of a deal they made. Sung-Won Oh, another one. John Axford when he was here that 1 year. I know he was here last season, but he wasn't healthy. So, Tanner Roark could be a guy that comes to the Jays. Stats not looking good in the National League. I don't think he's ever pitched in the AL. Well, he did for Oakland for a bit, but his entire career before the 10 starts in Oakland was all in the National League. So it's going to be really interesting to see, because he's coming to like I said, a very hitters-friendly division, and a lot of hitter-friendly ballparks. So, and a lot of great hitters in the American League East, of course. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of Tanner Roark brings to the table here for the Blue Jays. Obviously, because obviously with Oakland going for a pennant race and going for a wild card race, tons of pressure in there. I wouldn't say there's a lot of pressure coming to Toronto right now because the expectations are nowhere to be found. So he's just got to come here and do a job. If he goes out there and he just pitches well, and with Danny Jansen and Reese McGuire behind the dish, then you're going to see things happen. But for Tanner Roark, again, like I said, it's kind of like the Yamaguchi thing, and not to the extent of we've never seen him in the big leagues, because obviously we have, but he had one good year and he really hasn't performed up to par since then. A change of scenery, heck, a new country for that matter. It could spark something for Tanner Roark, but again, it's an all wait and see type of mentality. This was a lot of Clayton Richard and Matt Shoemaker last year kind of thing. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when it comes to the that whole thing with whatchamacallit, Tanner Roark and Yamaguchi with the contracts that they've been given. I'm gonna try and find that Chase Anderson deal for you guys now before we wrap this baby up here. All right, let me go Chase Anderson here. Anderson, there he is. Okay, and I'll bring the deal up here. Well, let's look at the Chase Anderson stats first before we look at the deal itself, because it was a little while ago, obviously. But an ERA last year of 4.21 in 139 innings pitched, 8-4 record there with the Milwaukee Brewers. Again, 32 years old. I think they're all the same age actually. Now that I think about it, Yamaguchi, Roark, and Chase Anderson. But you look at Anderson's numbers in the previous years. I mean, obviously last year it kind of spiked at 4.21, but he had a 3.93 the year prior, 2.74. He's had some really good seasons. However, they've all been in the National League with Milwaukee. Now you're coming to the American League. Once again, the American League East. Hitters-friendly division and ballparks. It's going to be very intriguing to see what happens with Chase Anderson for the Blue Jays. Obviously, I'm trying to find that deal for you guys here. I know I'm not very prepared here, but you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do. All right. So, I think it was for Chad Spanberger, and like I said earlier in the video, we got Chad Spanberger in the Sungwon Oh trade, and he was an infielder / outfielder. Didn't really pan out the way the Jays wanted to. He was in Double A, excuse me. He's a 24-year-old already, and he's he only hit like 230 last year. Wasn't really an integral part to the future for this Blue Jays team. So getting rid of him and bringing in a guy who threw almost 140 innings last season, with Tanner Roark pitching over 160 innings last year. You're bringing in guys who have had a track record, have been around the league a while, and they pitched a lot last season. They're not coming off an injury-prone year, so that's really, really good to see for the Blue Jays and their staff. Obviously, Ryu was a name that everyone wanted. I don't think that's going to be a thing anymore. But again, I think this team moving forward really needs to continue to add to their rotation. They need to add bullpen help. Again, I don't know what this team's going to look like next year, guys. I can sit here and say, well, I expect it to be better than last year. You can't get much worse than last season. So I don't really know what to expect. But again, I just really want to see this team continue to grow. Do I like these 3 signings? Well, let me just say this. I don't hate the signings. I don't hate the trade. I don't hate the 2 signings. You know why? Because we don't know what we're going to get. You talk to me after next year, or after like about midway through the year, maybe even, then yeah, fine. I'll be able to tell you. But it's going to take some time to really go over, what this team needs to do moving forward. If I'm not mistaken, is Matt Shoemaker going to be here? They tendered Matt Shoemaker. So if I'm not mistaken, Matt Shoemaker is going to be on the Blue Jays next year. So again, obviously he had 5 very good starts for the Blue Jays last season. So the rotation is going to look quite interesting going into next year. Obviously you have Chase Anderson. Obviously, Tanner Roark. It looks like Matt Shoemaker is going to be on the squad as well. You can look at a guy like Trent Thornton as a name. But what about guys like TJ Zoik? What about Anthony Kay? What about Nate Pearson when he gets here eventually, right? There's going to be a lot of shuffling around next year. They could not even be done. The Jays could go out and get something else, someone else as well. But what I do like is that they're adding not only depth, veteran depth who have been in the big leagues for a long time and have done it. Have won and done it. Roark had 1 good year. Anderson had 1 really good season. And since then, they've kind of trailed off a bit. The Jays are looking to kind of like revitalize those guys, bring them back and revitalize them. Matt Shoemaker was a great example of that. I understand he only had 5 starts. However, the injuries he had in the past and the rough seasons he had in the past, he comes here, he has 5 amazing starts. Now, obviously, he kind of crumbles and gets hurt and is done for the year. But imagine if that kept going. What if he might have even had an all-star season? So you're bringing in guys who have done it before, looking to see if you can spark something there. And you're only giving them I don't know what Chase Anderson's contract is. You guys can let me know in the comments. But for Tanner Roark, you give him a 2-year contract. Not a big deal. $12 million a year. You're not really paying him a whole lot, for 2 seasons. And the Jays aren't going to be up near, their tax yet. They're not even going to be close to it. So it's going to be really interesting to see what this team looks like moving forward. The rotation is going to be something to keep an eye on moving forward. But I think with the acquisitions of Anderson and guys like Tanner Roark, I think Yamaguchi is kind of looking more and more like a bullpen guy, but it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out come spring training and come the first bit of the season, because it's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be an absolute grind. It's going to be a fun one, but I don't know what to expect this year, guys. We're hoping for progress. That's really what we're looking for, all right? So you know what, guys? That's going to wrap up this video for the Blue Jays. Smack that like button if you guys enjoyed this video and you guys are excited to be here talking about the Blue Jays a little bit here, because I know a lot of you guys have missed Blue Jays baseball with the Leafs and Raptors going on right now. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below. Guys, this is your time to go nuts. In the comments, let me know what you think about the Chase Anderson-Spanberger trade. Let me know about the Tanner Roark signing, Yamaguchi signing, Matt Shoemaker coming back even. Luke Maley being DFA'd and or not DFA, but I think he got non-tendered and then picked up by the Pittsburgh Pirates. What are your thoughts on all of these things towards the Toronto Blue Jays and what you see this team looking like with these 3 additions? What does your rotation look like moving forward? And for one thing, do not slot Nate Pearson into that 5-man rotation if you are going to make one, because he's not going to make the team out of camp. It's not going to happen. I don't care if he has a great spring training. That guy is going to go to AAA Buffalo and start the year there. Try not to sneeze. Okay, we're good. So, yeah, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I want to hear your 5-man rotations. Give me everything you guys want to talk about when it comes to this Blue Jays team, because this is your time to discuss. This is the guys. This is the offseason. This is where we talk about what's to come and what just happened, And there's a lot of things you can take from this. You can say Yamaguchi in the 5-man rotation. You could say, you think the youngins Anthony Kay and TJ Zoik should stay in AAA at least to start the season, and then have Yamaguchi in the rotation. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Go crazy about this team. All right. Twitter is down below for myself, guys. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. And if you guys are interested in signing up to the Patreon account, the link is in the description for Patreon. $1 a month, guys. I'm not asking for a lot. It's just a little bit of help for the channel and a little bit of help growing, and I give you guys exclusive content once we get more people on there. Then I will be on that a lot more often, if you guys are interested, of course. All right, and I will talk to you guys Leafs edition. I think they play on Friday, right there. Friday in New York, taking on the Rangers at MSG. The Buds are feeling great right now. Winners of 4 of 5. Looking to continue that on the road in New York on Friday at 7 o'clock at MSG. And as for the Toronto Raptors, they're in action tonight in Detroit in Air Canada West, as the Raps are in Detroit taking on the Pistons. 7 p.m. tip-off there in Detroit, as the Raptors looking for win number 3 in a row. Win number 3 in a row, and looking to go 19-8 on the season, and look to continue to dominate teams under 500. All right? So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Talk to you guys then.